The world around us is always hiding countless strange mysteries, from ghost ships drifting aimlessly across the oceans to ancient treasures buried deep beneath the earth and archaeological sites that have rewritten the story of humanity. Every discovery reveals stories that have never before been told. The journey to unravel these mysteries not only expands our understanding of the past, but also inspires us to keep exploring the wonders of the world today. So, fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like, and subscribe before this video ends. The mysterious cemetery of England. Beneath the still waters of the River Thames lies a strange cemetery stretching across thousands of years of history. More than just a symbol of splendid London, this river also preserves some of the greatest mysteries about the ancestors of the English, with countless ancient human remains discovered deep under layers of silt and mud. From the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and even earlier eras, these ancient skeletons continue to emerge from the riverbed each time the tide recedes, leaving behind questions that have never been fully answered. Archaeological discoveries along the Thames have changed the way people view the history of this river. Far from being merely the backbone of England's transportation and commerce, the Thames has borne witness to the ups and downs and the mysteries of many ancient civilizations. The skeletal remains found in various locations do not appear only near the center of London, but have also been discovered along remote stretches of the river in places where it seems no human has set foot for thousands of years. The reason for the presence of these skeletons remains a major question. Some theories suggest that they are the result of fierce battles between ancient tribes, where the bodies of fallen warriors were cast into the river, either as a farewell or to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. Others believe that the Thames once hosted mysterious sacrificial rituals, where people entrusted their souls and prayers to the river gods in hopes of peace, bountiful harvests, or protection from misfortune. Evidence that many ancient European cultures use rivers, lakes, and marshes as sites for sacred rituals only adds weight to this theory. Some archaeologists lean toward the possibility that these ancient bones belong to communities who once lived and worked along the river's banks long ago. When accidents, plagues, or natural disasters struck, bodies may have been carried downstream and gradually settled on the riverbed. Whether born of war, religious ritual, or everyday life, the appearance of these remains has transformed the Thames into a living archive of history, where every artifact unearthed is a precious link connecting past and present. Today, each time new discoveries emerge from the deep mud of the Thames, archaeologists and the people of England alike are once more confronted by the veil of mystery that shrouds their history. This river is tied not only to great events and the people who shaped modern England, but also harbors countless untold stories of ancestors, sacred rites, and the silent battles that helped define the destiny of an entire nation. The 2,500-year-old mummy wrapped in cannabis in China. In a 2,500-year-old tomb located in the remote Turpan region on the edge of the Gobi Desert in northern China, archaeologists discovered a remarkable mummy belonging to the Gushi people, an ancient kingdom that once thrived through trade along the Silk Road. What astonished experts was not only the extraordinary state of preservation of the body, but also the truly unusual burial goods. The mummy was laid upon a wooden bed, covered by a special blanket woven from 13 lush green cannabis plants, carefully arranged across the chest of the deceased. The sight of these intact cannabis plants, with flowers and seeds still preserved after millennia, opened a new chapter in understanding the role this plant played in ancient Central Asian civilizations. Far from being seen merely as a recreational herb, as it is in modern times, cannabis in the distant past was used in spiritual rituals, religious practices, and even as a medicinal remedy. The presence of 13 cannabis plants, laid so reverently across the body, suggests that they may have been sacred objects intended to purify the deceased, connect them with the gods, or protect the soul on its journey to the afterlife. Additionally, the special manner in which this mummy was buried reflects a highly organized society, with complex rituals reserved for individuals who held special positions, such as shamans, spiritual leaders, or healers. This discovery not only proves that the ancient Gushi people used cannabis widely in both religion and medicine, but also helps scientists gain a deeper understanding of their spiritual life, funerary customs, and the many unsolved mysteries of cultures that once flourished before vanishing into the vast silence of the desert. The discovery of Osiris and Bakus in Poland. During a recent archaeological excavation in a small village in Poland, researchers uncovered two strange artifacts that left the archaeological community astonished. One was a small bronze statue depicting Osiris, the ancient Egyptian god associated with fertility and agriculture, and right beside it was a stone statue representing Bakus, the Roman god of wine. Both are iconic symbols of civilizations thousands of kilometers away from Poland, cultures that, until now, were never believed to have been worshipped in this land. The appearance of these two foreign objects has raised significant questions for scientists. Why, in the midst of a peaceful Polish village, were sacred symbols from such distant cultures hidden away? Could this be evidence of a mysterious community that once secretly worshipped foreign gods right in the heart of Europe? Or is there another, more unexpected story behind their presence? Some early theories lean toward the possibility that a secretive group had quietly maintained their belief in the Egyptian and Roman gods since ancient times. However, as researchers examined the historical data more closely, a more reasonable explanation gradually emerged. Before World War II, this area was home to a famous noble family, the Klenki family, who traveled the world and had a passion for collecting antiquities. The diary of Maria Klifska, a member of the family, reveals that she visited Egypt in 1904, becoming immersed in the mysterious atmosphere of the pyramids and ancient temples. It is likely that the Osiris statue was a souvenir she brought back from that journey, while the Bakus statue may have been acquired during a stop in Italy, where remnants of ancient Roman culture still abound. When war broke out, fearing that their valuable treasures might fall into the wrong hands or be lost amid the chaos, the family carefully buried them just outside the village, hoping that someday, future generations would be able to recover these heirlooms. The story of the Osiris and Bakus artifacts is not just an archaeological mystery, it is also proof of cultural exchange that transcends all borders. It reminds us that, wherever we are, the stories, beliefs, and values of great civilizations can quietly take root, be preserved, and connect people across vast distances. And sometimes, it is these unexpected discoveries that open up a completely new perspective on the past, on the journeys of artifacts, and on the unresolved mysteries of human history. Mummies, figurines, and ancient burial pits in Egypt. In the mystical land of Luxor, where the Nile quietly flows through the greatest dynasties of ancient Egypt, an astonishing event took place that left the world in awe. For the first time, archaeologists decided to open the lid of a coffin that had been sealed for more than 3,000 years, broadcast live on international television, allowing millions of viewers to witness this rare historic moment. Inside was the mummy of a woman from the New Kingdom period, the golden age that produced some of Egypt's most powerful pharaohs, such as Tutankhamun and Ramses II. But the discoveries did not stop there. The excavation also revealed a special tomb belonging to the overseer of the mummification process. In this tomb, archaeologists found a wealth of priceless artifacts, including exquisite, multicolored masks and more than 1,000 Ushabtai figurines. These meticulously carved figures represented attendants who would serve their master before the gods in the eternal afterlife. The surprises continued when experts uncovered a deep ancient pit, where dozens of mummies were buried without coffins, dating back around 4,000 years. No one knows why these bodies were laid directly in the pit, without coffins or any accompanying burial items. This scene raises countless questions about the events, rituals, or silent tragedies that once took place here over the long course of ancient Egyptian history. All these discoveries have helped to shed light on the mysteries of Egyptian life, beliefs, and funerary rituals, while also offering new perspectives on a civilization that once amazed humanity with its mummification techniques, sculptural artistry, and profound understanding of death and immortality. Terracotta figurines of humans and animals at Iran's burnt city. At the ancient city of Shah-e-Sukter, also known as the Burnt City in southern Iran, archaeologists have just announced an extremely impressive discovery about the once glorious Bronze Age civilization that thrived here. Amid layers of scorched earth and rock, they found numerous terracotta figurines depicting both humans and animals, alongside the remains of ancient kilns still bearing traces of their use. Especially remarkable among these findings was the preserved body of an ancient monkey, believed to have been imported from faraway regions such as India or Central Asia. This indicates that, as far back as 5,000 years ago, the inhabitants of the burnt city had already established extensive trade networks, reaching well beyond their local borders. The terracotta figurines here are intricately carved, representing all kinds of animals familiar to daily life, or those found along ancient trade routes. The shapes and designs of these statues reflect a distinctive artistic style, closely tied to the beliefs and spiritual life of the people of that era. In addition, the kilns discovered in this area were not only used to produce figurines, but may also have been connected to pottery making and the crafting of everyday tools. Another notable detail is that the ancient monkey's remains were carefully buried, suggesting it was more than a luxury item. It may have been a cherished pet of the wealthy, a symbol of power, or a connection to foreign cultures. These discoveries have opened up new perspectives on the level of commercial development, cultural adaptation, and influence of the burnt city along the trade routes of the Bronze Age. What is truly astonishing is that, even today, archaeologists have only excavated about 4 to 5% of the entire city's area. This means that countless mysteries, artifacts, and remnants still lie deep underground, waiting for future excavation seasons to reveal the magnificent history that once blazed brightly in the Iranian desert. The crushed Egyptian coffin in Israel. While workers were laying a gas pipeline in the Jezreel Valley, a completely accidental discovery left the archaeological community stunned. Just beneath the layers of earth and rock was a clay coffin estimated to be 3,300 years old. This coffin was not only evidence of the connections between ancient civilizations, but also held many unresolved mysteries. When the coffin was excavated, archaeologists found it still contained an intact skeleton, along with a wealth of valuable artifacts. The coffin's lid was carved with the face of a man, his hairstyle and the position of his hands crossed over his chest, bearing the clear hallmarks of ancient Egypt. Inside, besides the human remains, were bronze items, ceramic vessels, animal bones, and a rare gold-wrapped scarab seal set into a ring. This seal, a symbol of the pharaoh's authority, was once treasured as a relic representing supreme power. However, the true origins of the person buried here remain the subject of debate. Some experts suggest this could be the tomb of a wealthy Canaanite who lived under the strong influence of Egyptian culture. This individual may have been an official serving in the government, or a local person who admired and adopted the customs and rituals of the land of the Nile. The grave goods all bear traces of a blend between the two cultures, reflecting a period of convergence and historical upheaval in this region. This discovery not only sheds new light on the connections between ancient Egypt and communities in the Near East, but also opens up many new avenues for studying cultural exchange and the true identities of those buried with such unusual rites. Beneath the earth of the Jezreel Valley, ancient secrets still wait to be fully told to the generations of today. Ancient love letters in a Korean mummy's tomb. Inside an ancient tomb in the city of Andong, archaeologists discovered the mummy of a man dating back to the year 1568. What made this find truly remarkable was that, alongside the well-preserved remains, there were 13 old letters carefully arranged atop the coffin, the most striking of which was a love letter written by the deceased's pregnant wife to her late husband. The ink had faded with the years, but every stroke of the brush still carried the pain and yearning of a young wife who had lost the person she loved most in the world. The letter expressed the wife's anguish and sincere affection, conveying her unending longing and the sorrow that their unborn child would never know its father. In her words, she begged her husband to return and visit her in a dream, wishing she could see him just once more, and shared her grief for the child who would have to grow up without her father's presence. This discovery not only surprised researchers with the extraordinary preservation of Joseon-era mummies, but also revealed a deeply human dimension of spiritual life and family love in the past. The heartfelt words on paper stand as a moving testament to love and sorrow from centuries ago, allowing people today to feel the eternal value of simple, profound emotions. Behind the burial shroud and the layers of ashes left by time, the ancient love letter still resonates, a message across the ages about the bonds and loyalty of the human heart. The mummy of unknown man E in Egypt. During the ongoing quest to uncover the secrets of the Valley of the Kings, archaeologists once discovered a strange and haunting mummy, one whose true identity continues to fuel debate among experts to this day. Known only as Unknown Man E, this mummy was found in a humble coffin, completely lacking the usual symbols or inscriptions of name and status, completely unlike the royal Egyptian mummies, which were typically interred with great opulence and ceremony. The moment the coffin was opened, archaeologists were stunned to find the mummy wrapped in a sheepskin. This was a material the ancient Egyptians considered unclean, typically reserved for outcasts or those subjected to harsh punishment. Even more striking, the person's hands and feet had been bound, and his face was distorted, as if frozen in a scream of despair, his mouth agape in a haunting, unnatural way, leading many to believe his death was anything but peaceful. Unlike most Egyptian mummies, which were prepared according to traditional methods, the body of Unknown Man E showed no sign of having had its internal organs removed through the left side of the abdomen. This only deepened the mystery surrounding his violent and tragic end. For more than a century, the discovery of Unknown Man E has given rise to a host of theories. Some researchers believe he was a Hittite prince sent to Egypt to marry the widow of King Tutankhamun, only to be murdered at the border, since, as a foreigner, he would have been denied proper mummification and burial rites. Others suggest he could have been a general killed in some distant land where there were no embalmers, and his body was hurriedly prepared before being sent back to his homeland. Some scholars even speculate that Unknown Man E might have been Prince Pentaur, a conspirator in the assassination of Pharaoh Ramses III, who was executed and met a disgraceful end. Despite decades of research and the use of the most advanced techniques, scientists have still not been able to determine the true identity of Unknown Man E. The story of this mummy continues to haunt the archaeological world, opening up new avenues of speculation about tragedy, political intrigue, and crimes hidden behind the veil of ancient Egyptian history. The last fleeing victim of Herculanium. In the ancient town of Herculanium, just beneath the blanket of ash laid down by Mount Vesuvius more than 2,000 years ago, archaeologists uncovered the skeleton of what has come to be known as the last fleeing victim. The tragic scene was discovered on the shoreline, where the victim appeared to have tried to escape right up until the final moments of that historic disaster. What makes this discovery particularly striking is not just the location of the skeleton, but the telling details that reveal a desperate struggle for survival. Clutched beneath the victim's left arm was a small bag, which still contained personal belongings, fragments of precious metals, pieces of cloth, and traces of gold. These were the possessions the victim carried in hopes of saving a last remnant of wealth as chaos erupted and the earth itself seemed to open up beneath their feet. The bones themselves had been blackened and shattered in places by the intense heat generated by the surge of ash and poisonous gases from the volcano. According to experts, the extreme temperatures at the moment of eruption caused the body's soft tissue to vaporize instantly, leaving behind a skeleton that was both burned and fractured in the blink of an eye. All that remained was a contorted figure, clinging tightly to their bag of treasures as if grasping for one last hope of survival. Through their research, scientists have concluded that this person may have been blasted from their shelter to the water's edge by the tremendous force of the eruption, or perhaps they were overtaken by the deadly ash just as they attempted to flee. The image of the last fleeing victim at Herculanium stands as a heart-wrenching testament to the final moments endured by so many during the Vesuvius catastrophe. It also vividly illustrates both the terrifying destructive power of nature and the indomitable human instinct to survive in the face of fate. The Jesus boat on the Sea of Galilee, Israel. In 1986, during a rare drought season, 2 Israeli fishermen stumbled upon the ancient frame of a boat emerging from the mud along the shores of the Sea of Galilee. After centuries buried deep beneath the earth, this wooden vessel finally returned to the light, setting off a journey of discovery that captured the world's attention. According to experts, the boat dates back roughly 2,000 years, an era frequently referenced in the Bible. The boat measures nearly 8.2 meters in length and 2.3 meters in width. It was assembled from a patchwork of different woods, a clear sign of just how scarce building materials were in ancient times. The use of various kinds of wood also speaks to the ingenuity of the builders, who made use of whatever resources they could find to create a vessel sturdy enough to navigate the waters of the Galilee. As soon as the discovery was announced, the boat quickly attracted widespread attention due to its association with the legend of Jesus. Many believe this is the very type of boat that Jesus and his disciples would have used as they crossed the lake, preached to the crowds, and performed miracles. While there is no definitive proof that this was actually Jesus' boat, its style, construction methods, and age match precisely what is described in the Bible from the time when the Romans ruled this land. Excavating and preserving the ancient boat was an incredibly arduous process. Archaeologists worked around the clock for 12 days and nights, using special techniques to ensure the boat's frame would not be destroyed by exposure to air and sunlight after thousands of years in the mud. Ultimately, the boat was safely transported to the Yigal Allon Museum, where it has become a national treasure and a must-see destination for both pilgrims and history enthusiasts. Though it still carries many unanswered mysteries, the Jesus boat remains a bridge between past and present, allowing people today to imagine a time that exists only in the pages of scripture and legend. Its presence not only sparks the imagination, but also serves as a reminder of the enduring values of faith, the desire to set out across unknown waters, and the urge to shape one's own destiny at the dawn of human history. The disappearance of the SS Cotto Paxi. The SS Cotto Paxi, carrying more than 30 crew members and a cargo of coal, departed from the port of South Carolina in 1925 and then vanished mysteriously in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. For nearly a century, the fate of this ship was shrouded in sensational stories and became part of the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. Rumors of supernatural forces, time warps, and other inexplicable mysteries were woven around the Cotto Paxi's ill-fated voyage. However, the truth was eventually brought to light thanks to the persistent efforts of marine archaeologists and historical researchers. During an offshore exploration project near Florida, scientists identified the wreck of the Cotto Paxi lying deep on the ocean floor, far from the notorious Bermuda Triangle. Images of the ship, now covered in seaweed but still retaining many structural details, allowed investigators to trace crucial clues. The investigation revealed that the real cause of the tragedy was not some mysterious force, but rather a technical failure on board. Damaged coal hatch covers allowed seawater to pour into the cargo hold during a major storm, causing the ship to sink rapidly before the crew could send out a distress signal. Legal records from the victims' families also included testimony from shipbuilders regarding the unsafe condition of the hatch covers, a critical detail that helped pinpoint the cause of the sinking. The discovery of the Cotto Paxi wreck off the coast of Florida not only debunked fanciful theories about the Bermuda Triangle, but also served as a reminder of the real dangers that have always haunted long sea journeys. Every shipwreck on the ocean floor holds its own story, and when uncovered, they help us better understand history and the losses that once sank into oblivion. The secrets of medieval artificial islands in Scotland's lochs. Amid the tranquil waters of Scotland's Great Lakes, mysterious silhouettes quietly rise from the surface. These are the crannogs, ancient artificial islands constructed from wood and stone, an architectural achievement that still puzzles later generations. Hundreds of crannogs once dotted the waterways of Scotland, with ages spanning from as far back as 6,000 years ago up through the medieval period, each island holding an untold story about the people and lives that once flourished there. When archaeologists dove to the lake bottoms, they discovered intact wooden beams and massive stones buried deep beneath the cold mud. On the surface, traces of structures that once stood reveal the skilled hands and imagination of ancient people, visions that went far beyond their own time. The true purpose behind the construction of crannogs remains a mystery to this day. Some theories suggest they were small fortresses in the middle of lakes, places where ancient inhabitants could protect themselves from wild animals or enemies during times of unrest. Others believe they served as refuges for tribal chiefs or those who had been exiled. There are also researchers who suggest these artificial islands were sacred spaces, closely connected to ancient rituals and important communal activities. Whatever their original function, crannogs remain vivid archives of ancient Scottish life. Every timber and every stone bears the marks of time and of the people who once lived there. Beneath the cold lake water, the remnants tell a story of construction skills, creativity, and the age-old drive to conquer nature. Thanks to the crannogs, modern archaeologists have the chance to peer deep into history, uncovering secrets about everyday life, social organization, and even the dreams of ancient Scots. The mystery of these artificial islands continues to inspire scientists, history lovers, and travelers from all over. While countless questions remain unanswered, each time the lake waters recede and expose the wooden posts and scattered remains, people are invited to imagine once more the glorious past and the secrets still waiting to be discovered in this misty land. The mysterious Ming Dynasty mummy in China. In 2011, during the expansion of a small road in China, a group of workers unexpectedly uncovered a strange coffin buried deep beneath the surface. When archaeologists began the excavation, they were astonished by what they found inside. The remarkably well-preserved mummy of a woman, intact to an unbelievable degree, despite having lain underground for more than 700 years. The most intriguing aspect was that the entire body had been submerged in a layer of mysterious brown liquid, believed to be the key factor preventing the mummy from decaying over time. Her face, skin, and even her eyelashes and hair remained soft and lifelike, leaving scientists awestruck by the ancient Chinese art of mummification. Alongside the mummy, experts discovered many valuable artifacts, from exquisitely crafted traditional silk garments to jewelry and personal items, all in a near-perfect state of preservation. Ancient inscriptions and excavated objects indicated that this woman once held a high position in society, perhaps a member of a noble family or the wife of a court official. Yet, her true identity remains a major enigma for archaeologists. There were no markings or documents specifying her name or background. This mummy continues to draw the fascination of experts, sparking numerous theories about the secrets of body preservation and the complex funerary rituals of the Ming Dynasty. To this day, this mysterious mummy is regarded as one of the most miraculous archaeological discoveries in modern China, and as a gateway to unsolved mysteries about the life and death of the Eastern aristocracy in ages past. Ancient stone jars with triangular symbols in Israel. In the land of Israel, archaeologists have discovered numerous basalt stone jars dating back as far as 6,500 years, belonging to the Chalcolithic period. These jars draw attention not only for their great age, but also for the strange series of markings carved on their surfaces. Rows of small, perfectly shaped triangles, neatly arranged and mostly pointing downward, found primarily inside the mouths of the jars. What puzzles researchers is that across many archaeological sites stretching from Israel to Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria, similar jars with identical triangular markings have been found, even though they were produced in different workshops and transported by hand over hundreds of kilometers. These symbols are believed to be more than mere decoration. They may represent a form of coding, possibly relating to regulations, trade rules, or symbols distinguishing between different groups of people and products. Many theories have been proposed about the true purpose of these symbols. Some scholars believe they formed an early system for coding goods, enabling ancient people to control the quality and origin of products during the earliest commercial exchanges. Others suggest that the triangular symbols reflected rules or regulations followed by ancient communities, or may have served as distinctive marks identifying products belonging to particular craft groups. Remarkably, these stone jars have been found not only at residential centers, but also at ancient marketplaces, locations that once served as major trading hubs in the ancient Near East. This suggests that the jars played an important role in the network of trade and exchange between different cultures, while also shedding light on the economy, society, and organizational sophistication of early communities in the Levant. Today, archaeologists are still working to decipher the true meaning of this system of triangular markings. Every jar unearthed is a small piece of a much larger puzzle, bringing us closer to understanding the society, laws, and trading journeys that spanned thousands of years in the ancient world. Megalodon shark teeth in South Carolina. At a construction site in South Carolina, a professional fossil hunter's passion led to a discovery that stunned the scientific community: a massive, nearly intact Megalodon shark tooth. The tooth measures 16.5 centimeters in length and weighs almost 1.4 kilograms, many times larger than the teeth of even the largest modern shark species known today. The Megalodon shark was once the most fearsome predator in the ancient oceans. Around 3.5 million years ago, these giants could reach lengths of up to 18 meters, with a body mass comparable to a bus and enough power to swallow a great white shark like a mere snack. According to experts, the ratio of tooth size to body length suggests that the individual which left behind this enormous tooth could have been as long as 20 meters, far surpassing any shark species that exists today. The Megalodon tooth was found deep in sandy soil, the remnants of an ancient sea that once covered the region of South Carolina. This area is one of the richest fossil grounds in the United States, where fossil hunters still uncover traces of prehistoric marine life every year, from fossilized shark teeth and seashells to the bones of ancient whales. The appearance of the Megalodon tooth not only reaffirms the presence of this giant shark in the southeastern United States, but also raises new questions about ocean life millions of years ago. Teeth like these are vivid evidence of a time when the oceans were battlegrounds for gigantic creatures, with Megalodon reigning as the undisputed ruler. Today, Megalodon is long extinct, but its legacy remains, buried deep within the earth, waiting for enthusiasts and scientists to uncover. Every Megalodon tooth found is a tiny key to the past, allowing modern humans to look back in time and imagine an ocean world once dominated by the greatest shark that ever lived. The stolen Viking treasure in England. In England, in 2015, the story of a stolen Viking treasure became a costly lesson in greed and the consequences of denying the value of shared heritage. Two men, George Powell and Leighton Davies, armed with metal detectors, happened upon a massive treasure hoard in a field near Leominster. The discovery included 300 Anglo-Saxon coins and numerous pieces of rare gold and silver jewelry. It was one of the largest archaeological finds of the modern era, holding immense historical value not only for England but for all of Europe. However, instead of reporting their discovery to the authorities and archaeological experts as required by law, the pair chose to keep their find a secret, hiding the treasure with the intention of selling it off to private collectors for their own profit. They believed they could outsmart the law and convert the entire hoard into personal wealth, ignoring strict regulations on antiquities, but their reckless actions were soon uncovered. As they attempted to secretly sell the coins to antique dealers, their activities quickly attracted attention, and many of the jewelry pieces were recovered during the investigation. After being brought to court, both men were sentenced to years in prison for unlawfully seizing and trafficking the nation's heritage. Many of the coins and jewelry remain unrecovered, with part of the treasure's value lost forever to the black market. The case stands as a stark warning, emphasizing that every archaeological discovery is the collective property of humanity, not any individual, and that greed-driven actions will come at a steep price. It also serves as a reminder to the community of the responsibility to preserve, respect, and share the precious heritage that history has left for future generations. The underwater cemetery city. Off the coast of Florida, hidden deep beneath the clear waters of the Atlantic Ocean, there is a strange and unique resting place that few could ever imagine. This is Neptune Memorial Reef, an underwater cemetery city. Unlike traditional cemeteries on land, Neptune Memorial Reef is a combination of commemorative art and ocean conservation, where human ashes merge with nature to begin an eternal journey beneath the waves. Neptune Memorial Reef is designed as a miniature city, with stone-paved streets, ancient archways, and artistic sculptures, creating the feeling of stepping into an ancient site forgotten by time. But what truly sets this place apart is the way in which the ashes of the deceased are mixed with concrete to cast sculptures, memorial plaques, or sturdy columns deep within the sea. Over the years, these structures gradually become ideal habitats for corals, fish, and marine creatures, contributing to the restoration of ecosystems that were once damaged. Not only is Neptune Memorial Reef a place for preserving the memories of those who have passed away, it also carries the mission of environmental protection, helping the sea to revive. Divers, families, and visitors can come to this underwater city to remember loved ones while admiring the unique beauty of a place where life and death intertwine, coexisting in the vast ocean. Neptune Memorial Reef is not only the largest underwater cemetery, but also a testament to the wonderful harmony between humans and nature, a meaningful legacy passed on to future generations. Prehistoric feasts in Brazil. In the heart of wild South America, where winding rivers flow through endless green forests, archaeologists have uncovered a surprising secret about prehistoric community life in Brazil. Large earthen mounds known as cerritos, scattered across the plains near Lake Pos, are more than ordinary archaeological sites. They preserve the story of lavish feasts that took place more than 2,000 years ago. Through thousands of pottery fragments, remnants of food, and traces of fermented beverages, researchers are gradually uncovering a vivid picture of the grand festivals once celebrated by Brazil's indigenous people. The cerritos were not simply burial sites or markers of land boundaries. They also served as open-air banquet halls for ancient communities, where people gathered to share joy, enjoy freshly caught fish, and raise their cups with special fermented drinks they had crafted themselves. Each fish migration season, when rivers and lakes teemed with abundant food, the entire community would eagerly organize feasts lasting for many days and nights. More than just eating and drinking, these gatherings were occasions for performing traditional rituals, honoring their ancestors, strengthening bonds, and renewing the spirit of the whole community. Archaeological evidence shows that ceramic vessels found at the cerritos once held fermented drinks made from grains, tubers, and palm fruits. In addition, fish bones, mollusk shells, and the remains of food discovered in great quantity are proof of the scale and grandeur of these festivities. The ancients not only prepared fish in various ways, but also held open-air celebrations where laughter, singing, and lively dancing echoed throughout the night by the fire. Interestingly, the cerritos were used continuously for thousands of years, proving that the tradition of holding festivals was deeply rooted in indigenous culture since ancient times. These celebrations were not just about food and drink, they provided opportunities to strengthen social ties, allowed generations to share life experience, and helped build faith in the power of the community. Behind every feast lies a story of harmony with nature, gratitude for the blessings of the rivers and the earth, and the hope for a bountiful fishing season, a peaceful, plentiful life. A new dinosaur species in Missouri, USA. In 2021, in the state of Missouri, scientists announced an important discovery, a completely new species of dinosaur named Parasaurus missouriensis. The fossil was found at a site that, millions of years ago, was once a shallow body of water stretching across the region. What makes this find particularly remarkable is that the fossilized skeleton belonged to a young individual, yet its body already measured around 10 meters long, about the size of a large bus. This discovery not only adds to the list of dinosaur species that once lived in North America, but also reveals a mysterious chapter in the paleontological history of the central United States. Paleontologists have determined that Parasaurus missouriensis belongs to the hadrosaur group, or duck-billed dinosaurs. These were massive herbivores that once roamed the ancient coastlines of North America approximately 70 million years ago. The most distinctive feature of this species is its flat, duck-like snout, along with rows of teeth arranged for crushing tough plants. Additionally, the fossils found in Missouri are quite well preserved, allowing scientists to study the evolution and living environment of these dinosaurs in greater detail. The discovery of Parasaurus missouriensis has changed perceptions about dinosaur diversity in the Midwest, a region long considered a low point for paleontological finds. It also opens up new avenues for research, from dinosaur migration patterns to major geological and climate changes during the Cretaceous period. For archaeologists, every bone and every trace uncovered is an essential piece in the grand puzzle of Earth's ancient history, a world that, millions of years ago, was ruled by giant creatures across vast lands that today have become the peaceful heart of America. Pirate coins unearthed in Rhode Island. In a peaceful orchard in Rhode Island, a surprising discovery was made. Coins dating back to the 17th century, originating from the distant lands of Arabia. This find quickly captured the attention of archaeologists and historians, as it revealed an important link to one of the most famous pirate cases in the world. These coins possess not only material value, but are also tied to a mystery that has lingered for hundreds of years. They are connected to the infamous heist led by Captain Henry Every, who, along with his crew, attacked and seized a ship belonging to the Emperor of India. The vessel was laden with gold, silver, and Muslim pilgrims, making it one of the richest pirate hauls ever recorded in history. After carrying out this audacious raid in 1695, Henry Every and his men vanished without a trace, leaving the world to speculate endlessly about their whereabouts. For centuries, no one knew for certain what became of these legendary pirates. Some legends suggest they made their way to New England, hiding among newly established communities and beginning lives utterly different from their notorious pasts. The appearance of these Arabian coins in Rhode Island serves as rare physical evidence that supports this theory. It suggests that the pirates may well have set foot here, bringing their legendary treasure and quietly blending into local life. Each surviving ancient coin stands as a silent piece of history, evoking tales of ocean-crossing journeys, unprecedented manhunts, and a time when the legend of pirates lived not only on the high seas, but also found its way into the very fabric of colonial American life. The Thracian gold treasure in Bulgaria. In 1949, on Bulgarian soil, the Petko brothers, while digging at a small brickworks, accidentally unearthed a treasure that stunned the entire archaeological community. It was a collection of exquisite gold artifacts belonging to the Thracian culture, dating from the 4th to the 3rd century BCE. At first, they thought they had simply found a few bronze musical instruments left behind by local gypsies, but experts soon confirmed that this was pure 24-karat gold, once belonging to King Sufi III, the legendary ruler of the ancient Thracians. The collection consists of 9 finely crafted objects, including several elaborate cups, vessels, and ritual bowls. Some items are shaped like animal heads, deer, ibex, or rams, or modeled after female faces, showcasing the exceptional artistry and creative genius of Thracian goldsmiths. Each golden surface is adorned with patterns, scenes of daily life, legends, and mythological images, offering glimpses into the vibrant world and beliefs of a brilliant civilization that once flourished along the Balkan Peninsula. Altogether, the treasure weighs over 6 kilograms, making it one of the largest and most intact Thracian treasures ever discovered. Its material value is already extraordinary, but its historical and archaeological significance is even greater, as each object stands as evidence of the remarkable metallurgical skills and the rich spiritual life of ancient peoples. Today, this collection is regarded as a national treasure of Bulgaria and a vivid symbol of the golden era of the Thracian kingdom. These golden artifacts not only enrich the world's cultural heritage, but also inspire generations of history enthusiasts to continue exploring and preserving the memory of a once glorious civilization. The Ocean Vortex. In 2013, a scientific discovery led many people to change the way they viewed the enormous movements taking place within the depths of the ocean. Researchers found that the giant underwater vortices, known as eddies, are not simply circular currents of water, but possess very special properties, making them more similar to the mysterious black holes of the universe than ever before. In the ocean, these eddies appear as hidden whirlwinds, spanning hundreds of kilometers, always moving and drawing in everything that drifts nearby. What is truly strange is that no matter how powerful the current, the water itself is never pulled into the center. Only objects such as debris, plankton, or algae are swept along the edge of the vortex and become trapped inside. Scientists have proven that the boundary of each eddy is incredibly sharp, remarkably similar to the event horizon of a black hole in space. Beyond creating these unique physical phenomena, these ocean vortices also play a crucial role in regulating the global climate. They are capable of transporting masses of warm or cold water far from where they first formed, promoting the mixing of ocean layers and even influencing the process of climate change. Because of this, each vortex acts like an invisible hand that helps maintain the balance of the marine environment and directly impacts the lives of countless underwater creatures. The discovery of these oceanic black holes not only brings new knowledge about our blue planet, but also opens up a completely different perspective on phenomena that once seemed familiar just beneath the ocean's surface. It serves as a reminder that the sea still holds many mysteries that modern science has only just begun to unravel. The $26 million Christ Mocked painting. The painting Christ Mocked, a Renaissance masterpiece by the artist Cimabue, traveled an almost unbelievable journey before the world discovered its true value, an astonishing $26 million. What makes this story especially remarkable is the circumstances of its discovery. The artwork had hung quietly for years on the kitchen wall of an elderly woman in France. The homeowner had no idea that the small, seemingly old and ordinary decoration was in fact an invaluable treasure of the art world. It wasn't until the house was being cleaned out in preparation for auction that an art expert happened to notice the brushwork and the refined style of the painting. Sensing that it could be an important piece, the expert quickly contacted appraisers and arranged for the painting to be examined and restored. Specialists confirmed that this was indeed one of the rare surviving works of Cimabue, the pioneering master who helped lay the foundation for European Renaissance art. After thorough authentication, Christ Mocked amazed the art world not only with its aesthetic value, but also with its dramatic backstory. At first, the painting was valued at only a few $100,000, but as news of the discovery spread, the artwork's true worth soared, reaching $26 million at a public auction, a new record for a historic painting of its kind. This event stands as a reminder that priceless works of art may still be hidden in everyday life, and that behind every seemingly ordinary object, there could be a precious fragment of human history just waiting for the right person to recognize its worth. The mystery of the Baja people. Amid the sparkling blue waves of Southeast Asia, there is a community that has lived in harmony with the ocean for generations. The Baja, true sea nomads, have amazed the world with their ability to dive to incredible depths and hold their breath for far longer than anyone else on the planet. For them, the sea is not only a means of survival, but truly a home where every Baja child learns to swim before ever walking on land. While most of us feel breathless after only a few seconds underwater, the Baja can descend to depths greater than 70 meters and hold their breath for up to 13 minutes while hunting fish or collecting pearls on the ocean floor. Scientists have long been puzzled by this extraordinary ability, and only recently have new studies revealed that the secret lies within their very genes. The Baja possess a rare genetic mutation that makes their spleens up to 50% larger than average. As a result, when they dive deep, the spleen releases a large reserve of blood cells, helping their bodies adapt to the harsh, low-oxygen environment of the deep sea. Beyond this, research has shown that the Baja have several other anatomical differences. Their rib cages are more flexible, their blood vessels more elastic, and their natural reflexes are all oriented toward underwater survival. When they need to dive deep, they can intentionally slow their heart rates and restrict blood flow to their limbs, prioritizing the delivery of oxygen to the brain and heart. This allows them to survive far longer in conditions that would be intolerable for most people. The story of the Baja not only fascinates the scientific community, but also raises profound questions about human adaptation and evolution. Could the human body change to meet new challenges over thousands of years? Yet, behind these remarkable feats, the Baja's tradition of sea nomadism is fading under the pressures of modernization, industrial fishing, and social change. Children growing up in coastal villages now rarely learn the diving skills of their ancestors. As the old ways of life disappear, will these genetic mysteries and survival knowledge be preserved for future generations? The journey to understand the Baja's extraordinary abilities reminds us of the power of human adaptation and the priceless value of cultural heritage, now being swept away by the tides of time. It is not just a story of physical strength, but also a reminder of the sacred connection between humans and the sea, between the past and the present. Ancient people gathered around the fire in Spain. Beneath the earth of Spain, right on the outskirts of present-day Madrid, archaeologists have unexpectedly uncovered an ancient site at Valdocarros II. Here, beneath the hardened layers of time, they found the remains of a primitive hearth, dating back as far as 250,000 years. This discovery not only enriches the history of humankind, but also opens a vivid window into the lives of our distant ancestors. What remains of that fire tells a remarkable story. In the grey ash and burnt soil, scientists found traces of animal fat and tiny bits of plant matter, all mingled together. Clear evidence that the hearth once burned at the ideal temperature for cooking food. Yet, the true significance of this discovery is not merely that our ancestors knew how to use fire to prepare meals. Through meticulous analysis, it became clear that these flames once served as the heart of community life, a place where ancient people gathered together not only to cook, but to talk, share, and connect. Perhaps it was on cold nights in the wild forests that groups of people would sit huddled around the fire, telling each other the very first stories in human history. They didn't just roast the meat from their hunts, they also enjoyed the safety, warmth, and companionship of the group, values that would become the foundation of modern human identity. We may never know for certain whether those who sat around these fires were Neanderthals or our direct ancestors, but it is clear they already possessed a sense of community and were organizing social activities from a very early time. This discovery has pushed back the timeline for when humans began to gather, cooperate, and build communities even further into the past. It challenges us to reconsider our story of evolution, reminding us that, from the dawn of time, fire was not just a source of light and warmth, but also a place for forging relationships and forming the very first social bonds. It is a simple yet powerful image, a circle of people around a fire, marking the beginning of humanity's long journey of development that continues to this day. Prehistoric people living on the Canadian coast. Beneath the dense forests and wild coastline of Triquet Island, archaeologists have unexpectedly found traces of one of the oldest coastal communities ever known in the Americas. Tiny remnants of charcoal, alongside wooden tools, fish bones, and skillfully crafted fishhooks, tell the story of human life as far back as 14,000 years ago, when all of North America was still gripped by the harsh cold of the last ice age. What makes this discovery so astonishing is not only the impressive age of the remains, but also the way it challenges long-standing theories about how our ancestors first reached the new continent. Until now, most researchers have believed that humans entered the Americas by crossing the ancient land bridge between Siberia and Alaska, then gradually moved southward through ice-free valleys. But what was unearthed on Triquet Island opens up an entirely new perspective, that from the very beginning, the ancestors of modern Americans may have used wooden boats, traveling along icy coastlines to reach the promised land on the other side of the ocean. Beside the ancient campfires, archaeologists also found an array of meticulously crafted wooden tools, fishhooks, marine fish bones, and sharpened stone fragments, all showing that fishing and food preparation had become well-established practices from a very early time. Life on the coast not only provided an abundant source of food, but also opened up new routes of movement, allowing ancient peoples to bypass lands locked in ice and snow for centuries. The discovery on Triquet Island is not only proof of the diversity in adaptation and migration among our ancestors, but it also reopens the entire question of how the Americas were first explored. It is very possible that, even before the first wave of people crossed the Siberia-Alaska land bridge, as the classic theory suggests, there were already experienced seafaring groups skillfully using the coastline and river mouths to reach new lands. In this way, the history of human settlement in the Americas becomes far more complex, dynamic, and fascinating than the simple scenarios described in older textbooks. Today, as the traces of ancient campfires still lie beneath the coastal soil of Canada, every artifact discovered serves as a reminder of the resourcefulness, creativity, and extraordinary perseverance of those early pioneers. They blazed a trail for an entire continent, overcoming every natural barrier, and left behind not just wooden tools and the remains of coastal meals, but also a lasting lesson in the enduring human drive to explore and survive. Stonehenge Beneath the Sea. On the wild beaches of Norfolk, a discovery has stirred both the archaeological community and local residents for years. One morning in 1998, when the tide retreated farther than usual, a shrimp fisherman happened to notice some strange ancient timbers jutting out from the damp sand. An archaeological team quickly arrived and uncovered a mysterious sight. a circle of 55 large wooden posts standing upright, surrounding a massive tree stump placed upside down, with its roots reaching skyward. They named this place Stonehenge, a wooden version of Stonehenge set amidst the windswept sands. The appearance of Stonehenge leaves anyone who sees it in person silent in wonder at the hands and minds of ancient people. Each timber is buried deep in the earth, the circle enclosing a central tree stump arranged like a natural altar, pointing straight toward the sky. According to researchers, this remarkable structure appeared nearly 4,000 years ago and may once have been the site of sacred rituals, most notably the rare practice of sky burial, where bodies were exposed for birds before being buried, an unusual custom in ancient Europe. When Stonehenge was discovered, it sparked heated debate. Local people wanted to keep the monument in place by the shore as a part of their village's memory, while archaeologists feared that sand, salt water, and the relentless passage of time would soon destroy these precious wooden posts. In the end, scientists decided to move the entire structure to the King's Lynn Museum for restoration and long-term preservation. Thanks to these efforts, Stonehenge is now protected from decay and has become a source of inspiration for countless lovers of history and seekers of ancient mysteries. Amid the rhythms of modern life, the sight of those ancient wooden posts standing tall on the golden sand still evokes countless unanswered questions about a vanished civilization, the true meaning of strange rituals, and the connection between people, nature, and eternity. Stonehenge stands as a quiet reminder that sometimes it is the silence of time itself that preserves the most extraordinary wonders of history. The Ghost Ship, Sam Ratulangi PB 1600. In 2018, fishermen off the coast of Myanmar had an experience they would never forget. In the mist of an early morning, they suddenly came across a massive container ship, 58 meters in length, drifting aimlessly on the open sea with no sign of life on board. As they drew closer, an eerie silence seemed to engulf everything. There was not a single person to be seen on deck. Every piece of equipment had been left to decay over time, and not a trace of cargo remained. The appearance of this mysterious vessel quickly drew the attention of authorities as well as the international community, because it had actually disappeared nearly a decade earlier. Following an investigation, it was determined that this was the Sam Ratulangi PB 1600, a ship that had vanished under mysterious circumstances off the coast of Taiwan in 2009. Its strange journey began when an Indonesian tugboat was assigned to tow the Sam Ratulangi to a shipbreaking yard in Bangladesh. However, during transit, the tow cable unexpectedly snapped in the middle of the ocean, leaving this heavy vessel completely adrift and setting it off on a directionless journey across the sea. What made this case even more unusual was that nothing like it had ever been seen before in Myanmar's waters. The sudden appearance of the Sam Ratulangi PB 1600 fueled countless theories about what had really happened to it during nearly 10 years lost at sea, and reminded everyone of the lingering mysteries that still exist out on the distant ocean. For many locals and even experts, this was not simply a story about a forgotten ship, but a testament to the unpredictable power of nature and the sea, a place where sometimes all the rules can be broken. The Yatenvilla Rune Code of the Viking Age. The mysterious runic inscriptions that once appeared throughout Scandinavia and the British Isles have puzzled archaeologists and linguists for centuries. Around 80 different rune codes have been discovered, carved into stone, wood, and even everyday objects used by the Vikings. Among these, the Yatenvilla Rune Code stands out as especially remarkable, first appearing in the 9th century, the height of Norse, seafaring, conquest, and expanding trade. Unlike traditional runic characters, the Yatenvilla Code features an unusually complex structure, sometimes combining strange and unfamiliar symbols that make it much harder to read than the classic rune carvings. It was not until the early 21st century, thanks to the perseverance of experts like Jonas Nordby, that some of these mysterious codes finally began to be deciphered. Brief, everyday messages such as "kiss me" and other personal notes have shed light on the private lives and relationships of individuals within Viking communities. Still, the true purpose behind these coded runes remains a major question. Some theories suggest they were used by merchants or warriors as a way to send secret messages while traveling, protecting information from enemies or rival traders. Others believe that creating such complex codes was a means to guard knowledge, customs, or religious beliefs from outsiders' curiosity. There are even those who think these runic codes were simply intellectual games or creative pastimes, demonstrating the sharp minds of the Vikings. In addition to stones, archaeologists have also found rune codes inscribed on small pieces of wood, carved sticks, and even on jewelry and personal items, showing that they were present in nearly every aspect of Viking daily life. The diverse appearance of these codes only adds to the intrigue and mystery surrounding ancient Norse culture. Though we have begun to unlock some of the meanings behind these ancient inscriptions, the quest to understand the true purpose of the Yatenvilla rune code is still ongoing, leaving us with unanswered questions about the intellect, creativity, and spiritual world of the Vikings. The armored infant burial in Russia. On the remote Siberian landscape beside the shores of Lake Itol, a strange discovery left archaeologists both puzzled and deeply curious. Deep within the frozen earth, scientists uncovered a tiny grave, the final resting place of an infant who lived approximately 4,500 years ago. The atmosphere turned somber as the grave was unearthed, with an air of mystery surrounding the remarkable artifacts inside. Alongside the small body, which was laid to rest in a birch bark cradle, experts found a collection of truly unusual objects. Most striking among them was a necklace, accompanied by 8 small figurines carved from deer antler. These figurines took the shapes of humans and animals, such as deer and birds, as well as mysterious, unidentified creatures. Each figurine was hollow, likely designed to hold tiny stones that would produce a pleasant sound when shaken. Archaeologists believe these were more than just toys. They likely served as protective charms meant to guard the child's spirit from evil forces, in keeping with ancient spiritual beliefs. But what astonished everyone most was the strange helmet placed on the infant's head. The helmet was crafted from 11 copper plates, fastened together with leather straps, forming a finely made piece of armor. There is no known record of any ancient culture providing armor for infants, making the presence of this copper helmet a significant mystery regarding its true purpose and meaning. Was this simply part of a religious ritual, a sacred protective talisman, or a remnant of an ancient tradition that has since faded into obscurity? Every detail of this burial raises new questions without answers, urging scientists to continue their search for the truth about the beliefs, affections, and special forms of protection that ancient people once gave to their youngest generation amid a wild and unforgiving land. The Ming Dynasty shipwreck treasure at the bottom of the Chinese Sea. In the deep waters off southern China, scientists have undertaken a journey that stunned the world. At a depth of more than 1,500 meters below the surface, a modern submersible called the Deep Sea Warrior and a team of Chinese archaeologists explored, for the very first time, 2 shipwrecks dating back to the Ming Dynasty. This was not a treasure hunt like those told in legendary tales, but rather a vivid testament to the prosperity and far-reaching influence of Chinese civilization centuries ago. As the robotic arms of the submersible gently brushed aside layers of ancient sediment, porcelain jars and exquisitely crafted ceramic artifacts gradually emerged in the dim light. These were relics that had lain undisturbed in the darkness for hundreds of years, patiently waiting to be rediscovered. One of the shipwrecks alone contained as many as 890 intact artifacts, from small plates to teapots and vases, each piece a masterpiece created by the artisans of the Ming era. The other ship, though more modest, still contributed dozens of precious treasures to the underwater collection. These objects not only arouse the desire of collectors worldwide, but also carry a historical value that transcends time. Every jade green glaze, every intricate motif reflects a golden age when China expanded its maritime trade and turned the East Sea into the lifeline of the maritime Silk Road. Through each artifact, one can envision ships loaded with goods, cutting through the waves toward distant ports, exchanging with other civilizations, and helping to shape a global trading network long before the modern era. The discovery of 2 shipwrecks and nearly 900 ancient relics on the deep sea floor is not only of immense material value, but also serves as vivid evidence of the ingenuity and craftsmanship of ancient people, as well as the stature of a culture that once reached far across the oceans. The mysteries of these fateful voyages The reasons why the two ships never returned still remain, so that each artifact raised from the depths is not only an archaeological treasure, but also a symbol of humanity's enduring spirit of conquest and exploration through the centuries. The oldest stringed instrument in Western Europe, Isle of Skye, Scotland. On the wild and windswept Isle of Skye in Scotland, archaeologists uncovered a tiny, charred piece of wood that holds enormous significance for human history. It is the bridge of a lyre, dated to over 2,300 years ago. Though only a small fragment survives, this discovery has rewritten the history of ancient music in Western Europe, proving that, as far back as the Iron Age, the Celtic people not only appreciated music, but also skillfully crafted and performed with complex stringed instruments. Until recently, it was widely believed that stringed instruments appeared very late in European history. However, the lyre bridge from the Isle of Skye has upended those long-held assumptions. This is the oldest stringed instrument ever unearthed in Western Europe, pushing back the origins of stringed music to the Iron Age and far surpassing the timelines of many contemporary cultures in the region. The lyre itself was seen as a symbol of artistry and wisdom, closely linked to tales of poets, historians, and communal gatherings among the ancient Celts. The fact that this musical relic was found in a deep cave, a former dwelling place of early communities, also shows that music had already become an essential part of spiritual life in ancient times. From the echoes of song across misty fields to melodies shared around the fireside, the lyre helped nurture the hearts and minds of generations of Celts, laying the groundwork for the rich musical traditions that would flourish in Western Europe. The discovery of the lyre bridge on the Isle of Skye is not only an archaeological triumph, but also a point of pride in the history of music. It opens the door to a deeper understanding of the artistic creativity that has been a part of human civilization since the very dawn of European culture. If you found these mysterious stories intriguing, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on our next discoveries. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.